under this topic of absence of criminal intent. There are 7 subheads. In that, first is the act done to avoid other harm. It is in section 81. Next is the act of a child. So it is in section 82 to 83. In criminal law, children are given the protection under the certain circumstances for the acts committed by them. Means here the protection is given to the children when they have committed the act. The protection is afforded by the section 82 and 83. Section 82 is about the act of a child under 7 years is a no offense. Means any child under the age of 7 years has committed an act, then such an act will be not considered as an offense. Section 83, an act of a child above 7 and 12 years who has not attained the sufficient maturity of understanding to judge the nature and consequences of his conduct is also no offense. Means under the age of 7 years, if the child has committed an act, then it will be not considered as an offense. But in section 83, it says that from the age of 7 to 12, if the child has committed an act, then here his sufficient maturity and understanding to judge the nature and consequences of his conduct, means sufficient maturity that person is having or not, that must be first judged, examined of that person, and if that child has the sufficient maturity, then he will be considered as a liable. Means 83 shows that if it is shown that the child above the 7 and under the 12 years of age, if he has attained the sufficient maturity of understanding to judge the nature of his conduct, then he will be liable. Means if he knows and if he has done that act with a criminal intention and if he has a sufficient maturity, then he will be considered as a liable from 7 to 12. If he don't have such a maturity, then he will be not considered as an offense. Second is the act of the child.